Every NFL franchise is unique in its own way. Duh. Some franchises have had far more success than others. Some teams have endured way more failures and disappointments than others, and some teams are just caught somewhere in the middle. But when you take a close look at recent history and other factors, you'll notice that several AFC clubs share a plethora of similarities with a certain NFC team. Here are 10 of those AFC teams who share a striking resemblance with an NFC squad. Number 10. Tennessee Titans and Atlanta Falcons. The similarities between the Titans and the Falcons began at the tail end of the 90s decade. 1 year after the Falcons lost their first ever Super Bowl appearance to John Elway's Denver Broncos in the 1998 season, Steve McNair led the Titans to the franchise's first ever Super Bowl appearance, where they met Kurt Warner's St. Louis Rams. Of course, the Titans lost when Mike Jones tackled Kevin Dyson 1 yard short of the end zone on the final play, preventing the first overtime in Super Bowl history. So let's just say that these two fan bases can relate in terms of Super Bowl heartbreak. Both teams have had several chances to redeem themselves over the years, but it hasn't come to be. The Titans have had some nice runs going to the 2002 and 2019 AFC Championship games, but they fell to the Oakland Raiders and Kansas City Chiefs respectively. The Falcons went to the 2004 NFC Championship game with Michael Vick and the 2012 NFC title game with Matt Ryan. They lost both of those contests. Of course, the Falcons also went to Super Bowl 51, building a 28-3 third quarter lead over the New England Patriots. We know how that played out. Both teams continue to hunt for their first Super Bowl, each letting one primary opportunity slip away. Both clubs have had some quality playoff runs, only to come up short each time. Do you see the similarities now? Number 9. Indianapolis Colts, Philadelphia Eagles. The Colts and Eagles were consistently among the NFL's elite playoff contenders in the early 2000s and for parts of the 2010s decade. Both clubs reached 2 Super Bowls, the Colts in the 2006 and 2009 seasons, and the Eagles in 2004 and in 2017. Each club came away with 1 championship. Peyton Manning led Indianapolis to a Super Bowl 43 victory, while Nick Foles guided Philadelphia to a Super Bowl 52 win over the Patriots. But at the same time, you can't help but to think both teams should have won it more than once. The Eagles played in 4 straight NFC Championship games from 2001 to 2004, and they made it again in 2008. With Manning, the Colts reached the AFC title game in 2003, 2006, and 2009. They got back there with Andrew Luck in the 2014 season. So from 2001 to 2017, these clubs combined for 10 conference title game appearances and 4 Super Bowl berths. They each only came away with the 1 victory. I don't know, seems awfully similar to me. Number 8. Kansas City Chiefs, Seattle Seahawks. Well, for starters, each team has a top 3 NFL quarterback. Yep, Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the game right now. Russell Wilson is either the league's 2nd best quarterback or the 3rd best behind Lamar Jackson, depending on who you ask. Secondly, both teams ended lengthy Super Bowl championship droughts in the 2010s decade. The Seahawks won their first in franchise history during the 2013 season, and the Chiefs ended their 50-year Super Bowl drought in the 2019 season. And of course, the Seahawks and Chiefs are known for having perhaps the 2 loudest fan bases in football, having both set the crowd noise record. Speaking of fan bases, let's also point out that the 2 teams have had to endure plenty of playoff heartbreak despite their Super Bowl triumphs. How about Seattle's losses in Super Bowl 40 and 49, or the Chiefs' constant one-and-done performances, or that brutal AFC title game loss to the Patriots in overtime a few years back. Actually, come to think of it, both teams have endured brutal postseason heartbreak at the hands of the Patriots. What a coincidence. Number 7. Pittsburgh Steelers, Green Bay Packers. Dating back to the pre-Super Bowl era, no team has more league championships than the Packers. They have 13 altogether, and only the Steelers and New England Patriots hold more Super Bowl titles with 6 apiece. But the overall history and giant fan bases are not the reasons why we have the Packers and Steelers together on here. These 2 fan bases can relate in so many ways. The Steelers won Super Bowl 40 and 43 with Ben Roethlisberger. Aaron Rodgers led Green Bay to a Super Bowl 45 victory over the Steelers in the 2010 season. We know sports fans can't be too greedy, but honestly, it truly does feel like Roethlisberger's Steelers and Rodgers' Packers should have more rings. Big Ben and company lost the AFC title game to the Patriots in 2004 and 2016, while Rodgers' Packers lost the 2014, 2016, and 2019 NFC Championship games. In all, Pittsburgh has made 6 AFC Championship games dating back to 2001, winning 3 of them. The Packers have made 5, losing 4 of them. Both teams have a Super Bowl champion and future Hall of Fame quarterback. But again, Roethlisberger and Rodgers should have won more titles by now, don't you think? They play on consistent championship contenders after all. Number 6, New York Jets, Chicago Bears. Well, the Jets and Bears each have a Super Bowl championship banner to look back on, but for the better part of the last quarter century, these two clubs have been awfully similar. It'd be pretty easy for these fan bases to bond if they need mutual shoulders to cry on together. The thing is, the Bears and Jets have both fielded some championship caliber defensive units that should have helped them win a Super Bowl. Chicago was led by Hall of Fame linebacker Brian Urlacher, and the Jets had the best cornerback of this era in Darrelle Revis. Urlacher's Bears went to Super Bowl 43, where they fell to Peyton Manning's Indianapolis Colts, and to the 2010 NFC Championship, where they suffered a close loss to the Green Bay Packers. The 2006 NFC champion Bears could have gone all the way if they weren't held back by a turnover-prone QB and Rex Grossman. Well, Jets fans know what it's like to have a great defense and a bad quarterback. They went to consecutive AFC championship games in 2009 and 2010. Too bad Mark Sanchez was their quarterback. Following their successful 2010 season, the Bears wouldn't make the playoffs again until 2018. The Jets didn't make it again at all in the 2010s decade. See the similarities yet? Oh, and the Bears lost their 2018 NFC wildcard game when Cody Parkey missed a game-winning field goal against the Philadelphia Eagles. Jets fans can relate after Doug Bryan missed 2 potential game-winning field goals in the 2004 AFC divisional round against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yep, these teams are oh so similar, but not in many good ways. Number 5, Los Angeles Chargers, Arizona Cardinals. The Chargers and the Cardinals have lengthy and painful histories of constantly falling short when it matters most. Neither team has won a Super Bowl title, and they've both been to the big game once. The 1994 Chargers were a feel-good Cinderella team that ran out of magic against the Steve Young and Jerry Rice-led San Francisco 49ers. The 2008 Cardinals, like the Chargers, were a great underdog story that came out of nowhere to reach Super Bowl 43, losing in the final minute to the Pittsburgh Steelers. But man, both teams have been loaded with talented rosters in the 21st century. They just can't get over the hump. The Chargers had a dynamic offensive trio in Phillip Rivers, 2006 MVP LaDainian Tomlinson, and Antonio Gates. They only went as far as the 2007 AFC Championship game. The Chargers somehow only mustered 5 playoff wins despite qualifying 6th time in the Rivers era. It's been nothing but heartache for this franchise. These Cardinals haven't been devoid of talent either. In addition to ageless wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald, they had 2 Pro Bowl quarterbacks in Kurt Warner and Carson Palmer, and a perennial Pro Bowl cornerback in Patrick Peterson. But nope. Since their trip to Super Bowl 43, Arizona has only mustered 2 playoff wins. They advanced to the 2015 NFC title game, but the Cardinals were no match for MVP Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. The similarity between these teams hasn't changed a bit. The Cardinals are now led by a young phenom quarterback in Kyler Murray. The Chargers hope that fellow youngster Justin Herbert will lead the team to championship glory, something that Dan Fouts and Rivers couldn't do. So one of these 2 teams has to find some success eventually, right? Number 4, Baltimore Ravens, New York Giants. Simple explanation here. The Ravens won 2 Super Bowls in the 21st century, during the 2000 and 2012 seasons. The Giants also captured 2, winning it with Eli Manning at the helm in the 2007 and 2011 seasons. Both the Ravens and the Giants were built by ferocious pass rushes. Both these clubs lacked first-round buys and simply got hot at the right time in each of their Super Bowl victories. And the Ravens had a very inconsistent quarterback in Joe Flacco. And, well, inconsistent was Eli's middle name. But of course, these 2 Super Bowl MVP quarterbacks also knew how to turn it on in the postseason. These 2 clubs struggled to maintain dominance following their 2nd Super Bowl victories of the 21st century. The Giants never won a playoff game again with Eli after Super Bowl 46, while Flacco recorded just 1 more playoff win with Baltimore after Super Bowl 47. Yeah, so many similarities indeed. Number 3, Buffalo Bills, Minnesota Vikings. Over the past 20 years, the Vikings have been a consistent playoff contender. The Bills have been anything but. They only ended an 18-year playoff drought in the 2017 season, and unlike the Vikings, the Bills have often struggled to find superstars to build around long term. So why are they similar? It's simple. Just look at the history. Both teams have played in 4 Super Bowls. Both clubs have lost every single one of them. The star-studded Vikings, led by the Purple People Eaters defense, won the 1969, 1973, 1974, and 1976 NFC Championship games. They came away with 0 Super Bowl victories. The Bills, of course, reached 4 straight Super Bowls from 1990 to 93, but even Hall of Famers Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Andre Reed, and Bruce Smith couldn't get these guys over the hump. The Bills somehow managed to lose 4 Super Bowls in a row. Fast forward to the 2020s decade, and both miserable and frustrated fan bases are still awaiting that elusive first Super Bowl. For now, these two clubs are alone together in the 0-for-4 club. Number 2, Cleveland Browns and Detroit Lions. What more can we really say? In the Super Bowl era, these two franchises are by far the saddest in American football. And over the past 50 years, Browns and Lions fans have had to suffer more dysfunction and losing than any other fan base. It's sad, really. Neither team has played in a Super Bowl. Both clubs are part of that infamous 0-16 club. The Lions accomplished the feat in 2008, while the Browns recorded their 0-16 season 9 years later. The Browns haven't won a playoff game since 1994. The Lions haven't won a playoff game since 1991. The Browns last made the playoffs in 2002. Detroit ended a 12-year playoff drought in 2011. Both teams have wasted so many high-end draft picks in the 21st century too. For the Browns, just look at Tim Couch, Courtney Brown, Trent Richardson, and Johnny Manziel. And for the Lions, it's names like Joey Harrington, Ernie Sims, and Charles Rogers, among others. Yep, the Lions and Browns are similar in practically every sad way imaginable. 0 Super Bowl appearances, lengthy playoff droughts, an 0-16 season, so many draft busts. We just want to give these two fan bases a hug and tell them it'll be okay, eventually. Number 1, New England Patriots, Dallas Cowboys. For those of you who grew up watching the Cowboys during their 90s dynasty days, just apply all of that to the New England Patriots in the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick era. You either loved the Cowboys or you hated them. And you either love the Patriots or you hate them. These two teams, without a doubt, have the biggest bandwagon fan bases in football. There is no denying that. They are the two most hated teams in football. But oh, the similarities don't end there. The historic success speaks for itself. The Pats have 6 Super Bowls, tied with the Steelers for the most. The Cowboys have 5, tied with the San Francisco 49ers for the second most. These two franchises also employed 2 of the most iconic head coaches in NFL history. For the Patriots, it's Bill Belichick. For the Cowboys, it's the late Tom Landry. Both teams had a Hall of Fame quarterback, Tom Brady for the Pats and Troy Aikman for the Cowboys. These two men fronted dynasties and were responsible for the increased love and hatred for their respective teams. And of course, Jerry Jones and Robert Kraft are 2 of the most publicly well-known owners, for better or for worse. And finally, the Cowboys and Patriots are consistently first and second in Forbes NFL valuations rankings. Add it all up, and there isn't 2 teams that share more similarities than the Cowboys and Pats, whether you love them or hate them. What other AFC teams mirror NFC teams? Join us in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton, and hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.